Hey there, I'm Alec, creator of the Heroes of Timeline board game. Thanks for your interest in the game, or maybe even congrats on getting your copy. Whether you're about to play your first game or just need a quick refresher, this video will guide you through the rules of the game, and it shouldn't take too long. Overview. Heroes of Timeline is a board game for 2 players, and it's a skill-based game, meaning you can only win relying on your strategy and choices, not the luck. In this game, you lead teams of epic heroes coming from different points of timeline of a fascinating fantasy universe, and you direct their maneuvers, attacks, and abilities in a very dynamic turn-based combat. Strategy is key. Choose your path and either control key areas of the board or eliminate all enemy heroes in 5 turns. Every move matters and every hero activation is crucial to win. But don't worry, the game is designed to start playing quickly. It's easy to learn but hard to master, and this video will prepare you for your first game in about 15 minutes. In the box. First off, let's check the contents of the Heroes of Timeline box. Inside you'll find a game board, a rulebook with punishments for losing turns printed on the back, 16 hero portraits, 4 skill and ability tokens, a 2-piece turn counter, 2 punishment tokens, armor tokens, 32 regular armor tokens, 16 superior armor tokens, 8 team cards, 2 for each team, 16 hero cards, 18 wall tokens, and 10 hero bases, top and bottom parts. Hero bases need a bit of assembly, just plug the bottom piece into the top one. You can even glue them together, and in my experience that's a good idea. Now with all pieces in place, you are ready to play. Teams. The game features 4 teams, each coming from a different point of the timeline. A deity brought them together in a place called the Origin of Timeline. And to gain the favor of this deity and save their points of timeline, these heroes have to prove they're the mightiest heroes of timeline. The first step of the game is selecting teams. Each player picks a different team. Once you play a couple of games, you'll have your favorites. But for your first game, let your heart choose. The Dragon Hunters have excellent armor and stats, but lack in numbers. The heroes of the Hidden Temple have far-reaching ranged attacks. The Guards of Widgod are the only team capable of raising defensive walls in battle. The Institute's reality warping abilities are unique and unmatched. They might be a bit difficult for the first game. If you want to know more about the lore and story of each team and hero, just visit our website. There's a whole section explaining, for example, why there is a dragon in the Dragon Hunters team, or why the assistant and the Greg from the Institute are oddly similar. Cards. Once you've selected your teams, pick up your team cards. They are used for reference. Team cards show the team skill and the stats and abilities of each hero from this team. The game comes with 2 team cards for every team. So each player gets 1 team card with own team's description and 1 with opponent's team. On top of that, every hero has a hero card. These cards are used to track each hero's performance, who was activated, who uses abilities in this turn, and who's eliminated. Very useful. It also shows hero stats and skills, name, portrait, team, and ability. Numbers at the bottom show different stats: movement range, ranged attack distance, sides with regular armor, and with superior armor. I'll explain this in a bit, but first, assembly. First, take the hero portraits of your team and install them on the bases. Then equip both regular and superior armor tokens. The number of tokens of each type is specified on the hero card. You can place armor on any side you choose, but not more than 1 token per side. Board. I'm pretty proud of this design, so here's how you unfold it. The board consists of hexagonal tiles, and each tile is a space for exactly 1 hero. When placing your hero on a tile, make sure you've aligned the hero's base with the tile sides. It's important so you correctly show the direction your hero is facing. In the center of the board you see the key tile, the yellow one. Heroes can occupy and move through it, same as with any other tile. But the trick here is that placing your hero on it is key to winning the game. Also, as you see, the board is divided into 6 sectors. If you don't occupy the key tile, you should try to have heroes in as many of these sectors as possible. And so players choose 2 opposing sectors. These will be their starting sectors. And here the battle begins. Walls. Before your heroes clash in a mix of melee and ranged combat, you set up your defensive positions. You do so by placing the wall tokens. This also allows players to have different board setups in each game, and I think that your game plan should start here. Wall tokens are placed between the sides of 2 tiles, like this. One by one, players take turns placing 2 wall tokens in each turn. They place 2 walls in the same sector, and there's a total of 3 wall placing rounds. So in total, each player places 6 wall tokens in 3 sectors. The 3 sectors players put their walls in are the 3 sectors closest to them. The order between the sectors is up to the players. The player with the team that has more heroes starts setting up the walls. If the number of heroes is same, just rock, paper, scissors as adults. Walls can be placed on sector borders, and they must be placed far enough from the key tile, at least 2 tiles away from the center. Here's a map. Let's look at the example. The player with the bigger team starts and places the first 2 walls in the sector on their half. Then the other player places 2 walls in one of the sectors on their half. Then the second round, 2 walls from team 1, 2 walls from team 2. Then the third round, team 1, team 2. Until both players have placed 6 walls each. 2 walls in each of 3 sectors closest to them. Deployment. Your defense is set, and now it's time to deploy your heroes. Players deploy heroes in their starting sectors, and the deployment zone is the 2 lines furthest from the key tile. After a player places the last wall, the other player starts deploying heroes. Players take turns and place 1 hero of choice from their team on any tile in their deployment zone. A special case is if opposing teams have 3 and 5 heroes. Players start as usual and one by one deploy 3 heroes each. After the player with the bigger team deploys the 4th hero, the player with the smaller team can change the deployment tile of any already deployed hero. Deployment is over once all heroes are placed. Pre-turn abilities. We are now done with assembly and deployment, and finally it's time for the main battle. Some heroes and teams have abilities that are declared each turn before heroes' activation start. For example, Ballista from the Dragon Hunters team has a powerful single-use Dragon Slayer arrow. She must charge it before the turn starts. Another example is the Institute's Gateway skill. At the start of each turn, the Institute player selects 1 hero that can now walk through walls and other heroes. These pre-turn skills and abilities have tokens. If the skill is used, these tokens are placed on top of a hero card. They indicate the exact hero that uses a skill in this turn. Players declare these abilities one by one. The order is following. Before turn 1, after a player deploys the last hero, the other player declares pre-turn abilities, followed by the first player. Before turns 2 to 5, a player activates the last hero in the preceding turn, then the other player declares all their pre-turn abilities, followed by the first player. Activations. This is the core part of the game where your heroes move, attack and use abilities, and have fun of their epic heroic lives. So the whole game lasts up to 5 turns, and each turn lasts until every hero on the board is activated. Once the last player declares pre-turn abilities, the other player starts activations. Players then take turns activating their heroes one by one. Players can activate their heroes in any order. but heroes are activated only once per turn. To keep track of already activated heroes in a turn, flip over their hero cards and flip them back at the start of the next turn. The activation means that the hero can perform the move, turn, attack sequence. Let's take a closer look at each part. Movement. Movement is the first part of the move, turn, attack sequence of a hero activation. Heroes move from tile to tile and they cannot move through walls or other heroes. Each hero has a movement range, and it's the maximum amount of steps a hero can take in a single activation. For example, this hero has a movement range of 4, so he can make up to 4 steps from their current tile to an adjacent one. You don't have to move in a straight line, choose whatever path you like. Also, you don't need to move to a maximum distance every time. If you want, use less steps or even skip the movement entirely. Part 2 of the activation is turning. So after moving, you can turn your hero to face any direction. It is important for 2 reasons. 1. All attacks of your heroes come from the front side, marked by an arrow on the base, and turning allows you to direct your attacks, both ranged and melee. And 2. Turning allows you to protect your heroes. Always try to turn your heroes so that the potential enemy attacks hit the sides with better armor. Ranged attacks. Attacking is the last and most exciting part of the move, turn, attack sequence. Because in Heroes of Timeline, heroes are hitting hard. Any attack, ranged or melee, that lands on another hero's side without armor eliminates and removes that hero from the board. So after moving and turning, almost all heroes can make a ranged attack. Poor Greg is an exception. Ranged attacks come from the front side of your hero, marked by an arrow indicator on the base. These attacks are effective up to your hero's ranged attack distance. It's shown on the hero card, right here. Also, these attacks do not penetrate through walls or heroes, but they can destroy walls and heroes. For example, a hero with a ranged attack distance of 5 can attack an enemy hero 5 tiles away. He can also destroy a wall 5 tiles away. Melee attacks. An alternative to ranged combat is melee. Melee attacks are stronger, but you must reach enemy's tile to perform it, so it's more difficult to pull off. All heroes can make melee attacks, and to make it, first you have to check the distance. If the attacking hero's movement range allows them to reach the enemy hero's tile, melee attack is possible. For example, this hero has a movement range of 4. If he can reach the enemy hero's tile with no wall or hero in the way, a melee attack is possible. Let's check it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, the melee attack is possible. The melee attack happens like this. First, the hero moves to the tile next to the enemy hero. Then he turns to face the enemy hero, and then attacks. In most cases, the enemy hero is eliminated and removed from the board. After that, the attacking hero occupies the eliminated hero's tile, facing the same direction as before the attack. An exception is when a melee attack hits the superior armor. In this case, the armor is destroyed, but the hero under attack is not eliminated, and both heroes stay on the same tiles. Armor. You remember that if any attack hits a hero at a side without armor, the hero is eliminated, right? That's why heroes use armor. There are 2 types, regular and superior, and each hero has a set amount of both types specified on the hero card. Regular amounts here, and superior is here. Regular armor provides defense against ranged attacks. If a ranged attack hits regular armor, the armor is destroyed. You take the token off, but the hero stays in the game. Regular armor is useless against melee attacks, as they pierce through regular armor, eliminating the hero. Superior armor is rare and provides enough defense against both ranged and melee attacks. If a ranged attack hits superior armor, it is downgraded to regular armor. You swap the token and hero stays in the game. If a melee attack hits the superior armor, it is destroyed and you remove the armor token. but the hero stays in the game. Abilities. You now know the basics of the game, and you can already have a test play without the fancy rules from the upcoming sections. But for your true joy, let's welcome the skills and abilities part. All heroes in Heroes of Timeline have own abilities, making every hero, team and battle unique. These special rules are different for each hero, sometimes allowing them to break the rules we've just learned. For example, the Red Knight from the Dragon Hunters team walks through the walls like he never watched this video. He is also destroying them in the process. Another example is the lady from the Hidden Temple team. She is the master of storm winds. After she moves, she can give up her attack and instead select her current or one of the adjacent sectors and turn every hero in it. She turns them by one side of a hexagon, either clockwise or counterclockwise. This way she can expose unarmored sides of these heroes for potential attacks of her teammates. By the way, for the purpose of some abilities, the key tile is not bound to any sector. Team skills. On top of hero abilities, all teams also have unique skills. In some cases, these skills influence the whole gameplay quite heavily. For example, the Guards of Widgad have the Wall Raisers team skill. This skill allows any hero from this team to give up the attack and instead raise a wall after moving and turning. The wall can be raised within the ranged attack distance and on the tiles in the direction faced, key tile included, and you can place the wall on any side of these tiles. For example, the Golem from the Guards of Widgad has a ranged attack distance of 4. He can use the team skill, give up an attack and instead place a wall on any side of the highlighted tiles. Reflex move. When you choose a smaller team or when you're outnumbered when your heroes are eliminated, you get an opportunity to perform a reflex move. It's better explained with an example. A battle has reached turn 3, and now one team has 2 heroes left, while the other team has only 1 hero. At the start of the turn, the smaller team activates their only hero. Next goes the bigger team. There's a hero that has not been activated, so the turn is not over yet. Next, it should be the smaller team's turn to activate the hero, but all their heroes on the board are activated, right? This is exactly the scenario to use the reflex move. A reflex move allows the player to choose any of their heroes on the board, not much choice in our example, and either shoot in the direction the hero already faces, or move to an adjacent tile and turn. Melee attack on adjacent tile is also possible. And remember, a turn ends once all heroes have been activated. Do not perform a reflex move after that. In our example, imagine the bigger team activates first, then it's the smaller team, then the bigger team once more. And that's it. All heroes are activated and the turn is over. The reflex move is not happening. Turn results. Once the turn ends, it's time to determine the turn winner. Winning more turns is one of the ways to win the game. Also, if you don't win the turn, you are getting a penalty in the next turn. So first check the key tile. If a hero from your team occupies the key tile by the end of the turn, you are the turn winner. If and only if the key tile is not taken, to win the turn you need to control more sectors. And you control a sector if only heroes from your team are in it. An example. The turn has just ended. The key tile is vacant, so let's check the sectors. This sector is controlled by Team 1, as there is only one hero from this team. This sector is contested. There are heroes from both teams. Neither of players control it. And these 2 sectors are controlled by Team 2. This team wins this round. Also, if the key tile is not occupied and both players control the same number of sectors, like here, it's a stalemate. And in this case, both players suffer a punishment. Bird's punishments. First off, Bird. Bird is a godlike creature that lives in the origin of timeline. Place, for lack of a better word, where the battles of our heroes from different timelines are happening. And if there is one thing you need to know about Bird, it's that Bird hates losers and punishes them. So once you've determined who won the turn, you can give the player that lost it a punishment token. For the whole next turn, this player enjoys a penalty. Punishments are different in each turn, so remember to use the turn counter to keep track of the current type of punishment. The list of punishments is conveniently printed on the back of the rulebook for easy reference, but I'll take a pleasure in reading them to you right now. If you lose in turn 1, in turn 2 all of your heroes have a movement range reduced by 1. Lose in turn 2 and your heroes cannot use their abilities in turn 3, but team skills can still be used. Lose in turn 3 and in turn 4 all heroes have their ranged attack distance reduced by 1. And finally, losing in turn 4 will result in a downgrade of all armor of every hero in the team. Superior armor will become regular and regular armor will be destroyed. Bird's punishments are fun, as they can make you desperately charge for the key tile, so that your opponent suffers the punishment in the next turn. Plan carefully. Winning. And finally, here's how you win in this game. In Heroes of Timeline there are two ways to win. A more offensive one is total elimination. If all enemy heroes are eliminated before the end of turn 5, the player who eliminated all enemy heroes is the winner. And a more defensive one is domination victory. If by the end of turn 5 both teams still have heroes on the board, the player who won more turns is victorious. Overlooked rules. Just a few things that are often overlooked. After an attack, heroes do not turn. Move, turn, attack, that's the sequence, unless some ability alterates it. Reflex move. Remember, a turn ends once all heroes have been activated. Do not perform a reflex move after that. Winning a turn. If by the end of a turn your hero occupies the key tile, you are the turn winner. Counting the controlled sectors happen only if the key tile is not occupied. Chain eliminations. Certain heroes like Ronin from the Hidden Temple and Drakkar from the Dragon Hunters have abilities allowing them to move after eliminating a hero with a melee attack. If after that they can reach another enemy hero, they can perform another melee attack, but not the third one. Conclusion. I hope this video was a good guide for you and now you can play your first Heroes of Timeline game. Enjoy the strategic depth, get to know the different teams and heroes better, pick your favorites, try different ways to win, eliminate and dominate. I wish you glorious battles in Heroes of Timeline. And if you have any questions, please get in touch with me through the website or social media. Remember to visit our website for more lore and backstory of each team. And stay tuned for next videos. I plan to shoot battle reports and lore videos. Thank you for watching and good luck leading your heroes to victory. Cheers! This video will guide you through... He is also destroying them in the process. Armor tokens. 32 armor... 32 teams. Microsoft occupies the eliminated hero style, facing same direction as before the attack. Abilities. Numbers at the bottom show different stats: movement range, ranged attack distance, sides with regular armor and with superior armor. The game comes with The game comes with 2 team cards for every team, so each player gets 1 team cards with